What is up, everybody? How are you doing today? Happy Thursday, November 12th, and we are excited for some Thursday night football tonight. Welcome into the Fantasy Tap. My name is Michael. This is John.
What's going on, everybody? Everyone excited for that great and first really good Thursday night game that I can remember besides week one.
Whoa. Don't knock the Broncos-Jets game, bro. That might have been the game of the year. I'm not even kidding. That was a very good game.
Patriots-Jets game.
That was a Monday night, but...
we said game of the year, so I thought we were going all days at that point.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, no, seriously, though, that was a great game. At least surprising for what it was.
Crazy. Everyone talks crap about the Jets, but...
They've been putting up some games.
They've had two good games.
Yeah, can't
They didn't win them, but...
You think they're going to win a game this year?
I think they win a game. I think they win a game.
Who do you think they beat?
The best team that's left on their schedule. Probably the Dolphins.
Yeah, that would hurt.
We'll probably lose one to them.
That would suck. That would really, really, really suck.
It definitely wouldn't be something I'd look forward to. But I definitely think that I don't think they're going to go 0-16. But I do think it's going to be a train wreck.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be pretty ugly going through. Looking at their schedule.
It really depends if Jacksonville wins one more. Because you realize the only reason they didn't beat the Patriots was because Gase was tanking. I mean, he put 12 men on the field. Well,
did you see the fourth or the first down pass on the drive before Cam scored? The Patriots scored. It was a play action pass shot downfield. It went directly to J.C. Jackson, the DB, and I mean it was like, why? There's 3 minutes left. Why are you shoving the ball downfield?
He's just a bad coach for that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He puts his players in positions to lose. It's great. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, welcome in. Also, we're recording on Wednesday, and it is Veterans Day, so we do want to say thank you to all the veterans out there. We truly, from the bottom of our hearts, appreciate your service.
Absolutely. We do. Thank you very much. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you guys that go out there and put your guys' lives on the line. And thank you so much because I really appreciate living here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously. Home of the free, land of the brave. We truly appreciate it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our beer of the day. We've got quite a sweet beer.
It's almost like fruit flavored with a little bit of sourness to it.
Yeah, it's called the Crust Fall. It's a peach berry pie sour. It is by Boulevard. It's a collaboration by Boulevard Brewing Company as well as Rhinegeist out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Boulevard's out of KC, and Rhinegeist is out of Cincy. So pretty good beer. Pretty sweet. I mean,
it's an interesting flavor for sure.
So glad we picked this up today, though, because, I mean, it's nice. It's good beer so far. I like it. Can't even take, like...
It's an easy drink.
It is very easy, yeah. Well, if we had more of these, we'd probably just go through them.
Definitely.
It's quite easy. But anyways, let's get into our question of the day. It's kind of a different... two questions, two parts. You know, everybody's trade deadline in most leagues are coming up this weekend after week 10. So maybe you've got a couple players on your squad that you don't know what to do with. Trade away, trade for. What are we doing? So, John, give me who are a couple of your last-minute trade targets, people you want to trade for before this deadline comes?
So, obviously, at this point, you're looking to trade for either someone who's going to help push you into the playoffs or someone that's going to help you win those playoff games. And so when it comes to that, someone I'm really, really big into and just in the writing of the show found a little bit more love for the guy, it's going to be Leonard Fournette. After last week, saw him getting more and more of that backfield. The more Ronald Jones makes mistakes, the more he's going to be getting. And when it comes to that schedule towards the end of the season, you're looking at a really pass catcher friendly, running back friendly schedule. And I do think Leonard's much more talented than Ronald Jones. And I think towards the end of the season, he's going to continue to hold that share. And then Tom Brady's a quarterback, and the entire Bucs team is someone that's going to be making a push for the playoffs and trying to look good and stay consistent. And so I'm going to be wanting to hold him, and I do think that he's someone you can get for the cheap.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at the end of his schedule, after his bye week, so the playoffs from week 14 to 17, if you play in a 17-week league, Minnesota, Atlanta, Detroit, and then Atlanta again. So all teams that are, bottom 10 or so against the run, if not worse than that. I mean, it's great. Great matchup. I'm excited for that. So, and we've kind of talked about it, in and out all year. As soon as he got traded, that eventually, Rojo, he's had a fumbling problem his entire career. It's bit him in the butt a couple times lately. So I definitely agree with you there. Anybody else you're thinking about?
Quickly off the top of my head, I would say that off of some people, I think Cooper Kupp is another person who's going to be a lot more valuable. It's going to be harder to grab him, but I do think that they're shifting to more. I think he's going to get more and more involved into that offense. You saw him get 20 targets playing against Miami.
Jeez.
And I think it's not going to be going that high, but I do think you're going to get a lot from him, especially pushing the end of the season. They do have some touch matchups here and there, but I think it's week 15. They have an absolutely great matchup.
New York Jets.
Against the Jets.
And then 16's the Seahawks.
Yeah. And so I think you're going to be able to find him. I think Robert Woods is as great as he's been in this season. I think that he's going to start fading away a little bit in that offense, and Kupp's going to take over as well as Josh Reynolds getting a little bit more of an emergence.
I agree.
As well as they start fading away from their tight ends as strongly we saw this season. So I do think Cooper Kupp, someone who you're going to be able to get undervalued, be able to make an increase on him. If he didn't just have that blow up game against Miami, could have gotten him a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But I do think you're going to get some games like that again with a higher floor than you have been getting from him.
Yeah, he's only had 2 wide receiver 1 weeks this year, and one of them was this past week. So definitely somebody you can target and probably get undervalued. Last year, he finishes as a wide receiver 4. So ending the season, I think he does have a strong one. A few that I like, just to name them off the top of my head, just to name them real quick, and they're big names: Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson. You're thinking, that's kind of expensive.
That is rather expensive.
However, Derrick's not – he is leading the league in rushing yards, which is typical, but he's not doing what he did last year. I mean, he's coming off the worst game of his his year this past week, and he's not doing it week in and week out like he was last year. But I do like the end of his schedule. I think it's going to be – you're probably going to have to pay up for him. But I do think with coming off a bad game and then moving on to Indy, Baltimore, Indy, and then Cleveland after that, not the best matchups in the next coming weeks. So you might be able to get him for a little undervalue. And then the end of the year, I mean, it's just beautiful for him. Jacksonville, Detroit, Green Bay, and Houston. So some.
Yeah, you're looking at a lot of people getting ready that are looking at his next handful of games and being like, no, I'm not going to be able to really comfortably play him for a few weeks. But if you look ahead and you're someone who's confidently going to be in the playoffs, that's someone you're going to want to target now, because that person's going to help push you through and be absolutely great.
He's the most expensive player, in my opinion, that we have on this list. As for Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey, the reason why I say Christian McCaffrey, we're uncertain about his injury. Okay, he's missed a bunch of weeks, pretty much except for this past week since week 2. I mean, he's been out the majority of the season. This is the cheapest you're going to get Christian McCaffrey. We saw what he can do this past weekend. We maybe you thought, oh, he'll come back. He'll maybe be on a snap count or slow down. Nope. Running back 2 this week, 37 points, just balled. And I think with the uncertainty of his shoulder injury, I'm not a doctor, but in my opinion, he came back in the game this past week. I'm thinking, like I said, I'm not a doctor, nothing like that. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express. But I do think that he is going to come back maybe closer to the end of the year, maybe miss 2 weeks or something like that, and he could really help you win that championship.
Yeah. So there have been reports about his injury. Wow. Damn. And so, I'm alive. We're good.
Okay.
So what people are saying about him right now is that he obviously came back into the game. Earlier reports were saying that it's possible that the shoulder AC joint, I believe it is, could put him out for the rest of the season. But later today, they backed off of it and said that it was just going to be a few weeks. Some people were saying that he's just not going to be playing this week. And with that sort of just wild speculation going around and there not being any definitive answer so far, you should be able to get him maybe in your league. Someone's just not willing to take that risk. Again, if he's going to be missing time and coming back later, that's going to be just in time for your playoff push as well as your playoff run. And that is a name that if you can grab cheaper now, due to the fact that he's going through these injury concerns, is going to help either secure you your victory and that championship, or at least help get you pretty close.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. And then as for Lamar, what do you think about Lamar? What are your thoughts?
I would trade for him as long as I don't feel like I'm paying up. I'm not spending a lot to grab him. I'm hoping that whoever has him is ready to just move on.
And similar, to a couple of these players, Lamar is not Lamar of last year. And he's got a tough couple games coming up. But again, especially if you're in a playoff push, maybe not locked in for playoffs, but almost there. He's got a great playoff schedule. I mean, starting in week 13, you can't ask for any better. Dallas, Cleveland, Jacksonville, the Giants, and then 17 is Cincinnati. So a player that you're more likely than not going to have to pay up for, Lamar Jackson numbers. And at the end of the season, he can put up those numbers. So you're not going to have to pay as much, hopefully, and he'll, give dividends back. Or pay dividends back. So definitely Lamar is somebody. And then, John, you got a tight end before we move on to the tradeaways?
Yeah, my guy's going to be Noah Fant. He's been hitting that injury wire. Coming back from injury all season. He seemed like somebody who's been hurt a lot. Kind of when he's there, been highly targeted, absolutely great. Definitely, in my opinion, is one of Drew Lock's favorite targets on the team. And I do think a lot of people are just fading the idea of him. They're not as hot on him as they should be. And if he had played all 12 games, he would be a top 6 tight end this season, if not higher. So I think that he's someone that you're going to be able to trade for. Again, when I'm trading for people, I'm trying to win that trade. I do believe that he is someone that's going to help you win the playoffs and help push you forward again. And that's really what you're just looking for, is to build that roster up.
Yeah, 100% agree. When I try to trade, I don't want to give up too much, obviously, but I'm okay with quote unquote losing the trade as long as my team is better. As long as I'm making my team better, I'm okay with it. And I think Noah Fant is somebody you could target that will make your team better. But let's move on, John, to some people you're trading away.
So, obviously, my first person is the one that hurt me the most this season so far. Marquise Brown. Now, this is someone who you're not going to be getting a lot for. You're going to be looking for someone. You're going to put him out there and hope that someone takes a bite. And you're going to take whatever they offer you, as long as there's some value to it. And he has an incredible upside. You saw it last year. He can be that deep threat, big guy, that big play receiver, but that's just not the way the offense is trending this year. They're not relying on that. They're not really using their weapons, and it's just a completely different team than what we were expecting. Marquise Brown has zero to little value, and in some cases, people may already be dropping him. So I would think that if you can't trade him by this week, you hold out on him, or if you get another person in the waivers you want more than him, you can move on from him.
Yeah, so if I can trade him on name value alone, then I'm doing so. I don't think I'm dropping him yet just because of the matchups he's going to have in the next few weeks. He's already sat on my bench. I know he has that big play ability, and he's been, he's been chirping about how he wants the ball, and maybe in this scenario, in the coming weeks, the squeaky wheel gets the oil potentially. But if I can't trade him based on name value, I think I'm going to hold him. But I'm really trying to move him just based on his name value and big playability.
Do you think him calling for the ball is actually going to lead to him getting more targets?
I don't know. Like I said, sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So potentially, they brought Des Bryant up for a game and then moved him right back down. So potentially, one of my favorite trade away targets right now, John, it's Mike Davis. And it's kind of weird, it's like, why would you trade him away with the uncertainty of Christian McCaffrey?
Because of the uncertainty of Christian McCaffrey.
Let me tell you why. If you own Christian McCaffrey, you are not trading Mike Davis away. No way, no how. However, if you just own Mike Davis outright, this is the most you're going to be able to trade him for the most value at this point, and that's what's going to help you move on and win a championship. Mike Davis could become irrelevant at any point in time, and he could ball out. Christian McCaffrey could be done for the season, and he could be a running back one. However, I like I said earlier, personally, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to come back at some point. I think you need to go to the Christian McCaffrey owner and dangle that carrot in front of him. Dangle Mike Davis in front of him because he needs Mike Davis more than you need Mike Davis. And you could at least get an upgrade and a consistent running back for Mike Davis, especially from the Christian McCaffrey owner.
Yeah, you might lose a little bit of your short-term upside, but long-term, Mike Davis is not going to be a rest-of-season running back for you. And my personal thing on trading at this point in the season is long-term, this is my team for the run. And if I can get rid of a part that's going to be irrelevant, like you were talking about, move on from it, get what you can, and consider it a win.
Yep. Now another trade away, couple trade away targets real quick before we move on. AJ Brown, he's got a tough schedule coming up. They just finished the easiest part of their schedule. He's been putting up 20-point games after 20-point games with a 12 in there. Sprinkled in after 20-point games. He's getting the consistent targets, but you know what? He's coming up to the hardest part of his schedule. And I don't think it's going to continue to be what it is. Just somebody I would trade away, for the most value currently. DJ Chark, somebody similar. He just had a big game. You're probably not going to get, a whole lot for him. And maybe you can because he had that huge game and he's got a pretty nice schedule, weeks 11 through 14. But just somebody I would trade. I don't see him being consistent, and I see him losing you weeks more than winning you weeks. And then you want to get in the last two, John?
Yeah, let's get into it. So I think that another good trade target for you guys is actually going to be, I think Kyler Murray, as you were mentioning earlier. Trade away target for you guys is actually going to be Kyler Murray. Absolutely balling at quarterback. You're talking about the quarterback 1, quarterback 2, depending on your formats. I think that you trade Kyler Murray away and stream a quarterback rest of the season. You're finding quarterback 1s on the waiver wires week in and week out if you dig deep enough, if you look hard enough.
Yep.
I think that you can trade Kyler Murray away as the quarterback 1 or 2 or even 3 and grab yourself a stud running back, a stud receiver, whatever your weak point is on your team. You take that value of those 2 40-point games from them, and then you move on. You grab yourself
Derek Carr.
You grab yourself a Derek Carr.
He's got some great games coming up. Denver this week. He has KC after that. Atlanta, New York Jets, and then week 15, the Chargers. So you're planning ahead is going to be a part of that streaming game, but I 100% agree. Trading Kyler and getting a solid, running back, wide receiver for your team for that push for the playoffs. Trade him to a quarterback needy team. with a solid running back. If I can get a running back, especially at this point in the season, for Kyler, that's the route I'm going because they're so hard to find at this point.
Or even if you can trade him away for a quarterback and a running back. Take a downgrade at the QB and then grab yourself another steady and solid running back. Fill your holes with that stud that outperformed your ADP of him. Take that value that you're getting.
Yeah.
And then personally, same thing here with Alvin Kamara. With Michael Thomas back, Drew Brees not really running as much of the offense through him as he had gotten in the beginning of the season. I don't think that Alvin Kamara is going to continue to be that number 1 running back, number 2 running back. I do think he's going to hit a little bit of a drop off and find a steady, still have that high floor that he does have and that huge pass catching upside. But I don't think that he's going to be having these insane, huge games. And I think you need to trade him away before the deadline's over. Again, just like that Kyler situation, fill another weak point on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
Grab another stud running back as well as a flexible receiver, or if you're weak at quarterback, grab a solid quarterback and someone else you can use to fill a roster spot. Just use that name value plus how he's been producing, and get your team as stout as you can.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing with these high tier players like Kyler, like Alvin. You want to get a solid piece for them that's going to help you win the make that playoff push, and then try to get another secondary piece on that. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into our news real quick before we get to our starts of the week. Miles Sanders returns from injury and was limited at practice on Wednesday. Good to see if you're a Sanders owner. Adam Humphries will not play on Thursday, so he is out. Kenyon Drake did return to practice for the Cardinals there on Wednesday, which is good to see for him. And if you're a Kenyon Drake owner, if you spent that high draft capital on him, you are smiling. You are smiling.
Still sad, but you're a little happier than you were before that news.
They've got a grimace. They've got a smirk. Joe Mixon worked on the sideline on Wednesday and is looking to get back to a full practice before Sunday. Keep an eye out on that. If he does that, then Gio Bernard becomes
of week 2 and 3.
Yeah, a waiver wire. Get off my team. Jack Doyle will be out for Thursday night game. I like that a lot. For our boy Trey Burton. T.Y. Hilton will be making a return on Thursday. Good to see for him. Don't put him in your lineup.
He's going to be returning to the bench.
Yes. With David Johnson likely to miss this Sunday, we will see Duke Johnson handling the backfield. And if you're a Duke Johnson owner, he was one of our waiver targets this week. You're liking it. You're liking it a lot because you could, high-end running back too. With high upside, but mid to high running back this week.
Let the man eat.
We always say that, and then Carlos Hyde came on the team. And it was just
if it's only one game, this is going to be it, and I can live with that.
Okay, yeah, 100% agree. You'll get this 1 week out of him. You'll win the matchup, and then you'll move on. But good to see that Duke is getting another shot. While some early speculation had many fearing. Play this story up. Had many fearing that Christian McCaffrey's injury could be season-ending.
Oh no!
There has been some indication that he will return before the end of the season, and we like that.
Yeah, we really need him back in a couple, and at least one of our leagues together.
Yeah. Yep. And we talked about it a little bit earlier, so you guys got the gist on that. But keep an eye out. Let's see what CMC does. Go trade for him if you can. Aaron Jones logged a full practice, which is good to see for him. Mark Ingram of the Ravens has also returned to practice in a limited fashion. J.K. Dobbins owners begin to cry, but I think he'll be fine eventually. Keep hoping. Keep hoping.
I'm losing my hope for him for a end of season push.
I'm not. I am not. I am still strong.
Would you trade for him right now?
Nope. Unless I can get him for free.
It'd be cheap.
Yeah.
He's not going to be expensive.
If he's not expensive, then yeah. But I'm not making a big push for him. Mecole Hardman has entered the NFL COVID list. The Chiefs are on a bye this week, so he may not miss time as long as he tests negative by next week. So, but anyways, keep an eye on that. Good thing they are on bye. Also, my boy Kenny Golladay, not great. Still not practicing. So not good. Not good. Raheem Mostert will not be coming back for Week 10, John. Tevin Coleman, however, he will be practicing this week, but is unlikely to play. So, Jerick McKinnon owners, you can rejoice, hopefully. Keep an eye on it. See how it goes. Devonta Freeman has also returned to practice, as well as Sterling Shepard. What does this make of Wayne Gallman?
This means he falls back into he was already a risky flex play. Wayne Gallman returns to a desperation play in all situations.
Yes, indeed. I do think he's run pretty well.
He's done good, but I think with the lack of opportunity he's going to be getting now that Freeman's there, just by Freeman being there, he's going to get touches.
I think
he loses a little bit of upside.
I agree. I 100% agree. But I do think that he's running well enough to maybe take a couple of them away. So instead of 6, he'll get 8. So
yeah.
nothing crazy. But anyways, starts of the week, John. They're here.
I'm excited. We've already talked about one of my guys.
Yes, we have. Do you want to get into your quarterback, and then we'll jump into
Yeah, so I'm really feeling it this week. I'm putting myself out there. The matchup is juicy. The player I've talked so much crap about, but I'm going with Carson Wentz.
Don't let him burn you like he burnt me.
Hey, we all get burned every once in a while.
Yes.
But with Carson Wentz, he's going to be having Jalen Reagor back. He's going to be having Dallas Goedert back. Miles Sanders may be back this week. Alshon Jeffrey's possibly coming back this week. And they're going up against the Giants. Last time we played the Giants?
Let's hear it.
359 yards.
Hey-o.
Threw for 2 touchdowns. As well as ran for a touchdown. So, obviously he understands how to beat the Giants defense.
The Giants also know how to beat themselves.
Exactly. The Giants are obviously playing for an early draft pick, which realistically should mean that Carson Wentz is going to be put in the position where he's going to have to ball out again. This time they're in New York, so they're going to be away. A lot of pressure on them, and I think that with his weapons, he is going to really move the ball downfield, and I think he's going to ball out again just out of necessity. We did see him come off of a bad week last week playing Dallas, which was slightly surprising. But part of that is Dallas's offense was non-existent, and the game was just a giant lull. Not much going on there. I think that you have another big game from Carson Wentz, and I think he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, I 100% agree. He is one of my favorite plays this week. He can get it done on the ground. He can get in the end zone with his feet, and he can also throw the ball. And with all of his weapons coming back, I think it's definitely he's going to put up numbers. And in my opinion, lock for a quarterback 1. Top 8 even.
Lock for quarterback 1, I like it.
For sure. So I agree there, John. Nice pat on the back.
I'll take it.
All right. Moving on to my quarterback. My quarterback of the week. Super excited. New team. Been a good year for him. Up and down. Some really high highs. Some really low lows. And some are saying this past week was the lowest of his career. Tom Brady out in Tampa Bay. Playing for the Bucs. Had a bad week. 3 interceptions. 1 was caught by a defensive tackle. It's never good when a defensive tackle catches an interception.
Nice catch, though.
Yeah, what? Nice deflection from, I believe it was Trey Hendrickson.
You got to give the man some credit. That was a nice catch.
Yeah, he did well. Caught it off a deflection. But Tom Brady. Gosh. John, I don't like this. I don't like this. Not because I don't think he's going to have a good week or anything, but because I just don't like Tom Brady. But anyways, to be honest, the Carolina Panthers going up against Carolina Panthers, they're playing in Carolina, so the weather should be okay. Maybe a little chilly, but the thing I like about Tom Brady is that he always performs when his back is against the wall, unless it's against the Miami Dolphins, but that's neither here nor there. 28-3, John, ring a bell?
Super Bowl?
Yes. His back was against the wall, and what did he do? He came out, performed, and he's done it throughout his career. I think a lot of the media is talking about him, and to be honest, I don't have a ton of stats. That, like I said, the Panthers have been okay, kind of middle of the pack against the quarterback, as fantasy football wise. But I do think that the offense is going to have, this week of practice to kind of get more acclimated. Antonio Brown some more time. Chris Godwin's going to hopefully be almost fully healthy. Mike Evans, Gronk, all of them are going to get on the same page. Tom Brady is going to come out, throw for 4 touchdowns, and 325 yards. Book it.
325.
Yep.
Did you say 4 touchdowns?
4. Yeah, 4. He's gonna be slinging the ball.
Oh, we're booking it.
Yep, I'm gonna write that stat line underneath him, just so I know what I said in a couple days. But I just think Tom Brady's gonna come back with a vengeance this week and take it out on the Panthers. Like I said, they're not great against the pass, middle of the pack.
No, I definitely think he's going to be coming out here super angry, especially after looking terrible at playing against the Saints last week.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I do think someone that's really going to benefit from that is going to be Leonard Fournette. My running back of the week is going to be Leonard. Coming from a huge Ronald Jones fan beginning of season, this kind of hurts me, but I'd love Leonard at the Jags too. But recently, from week 7 to 9, Leonard's been getting at least 6 targets a game. They're going to be going up against the Carolina Panthers, as you just mentioned. Middle of the pack against the quarterback in the passing game, but top of the crap list when it comes to playing against the running back. And when it comes to playing against a pass catching running back, they've allowed the most receptions, the 3rd most yards, or the 28th most yards, 28th least, 5th most yards. Quick math. As well as the 4th most touchdowns to the running back, and as well as letting up over 4.5 yards a carry. I think that you're going to be getting Leonard Fournette in that backfield, as we mentioned before, progressively getting more and more shares than Ronald Jones has been getting. Ever since week 8, Ronald Jones has been getting 24 and 32%, while Leonard Fournette is getting 73 and 66% of that backfield. I think it's time. We all knew that Leonard would eventually take over, and it is starting to begin. Last week, coming off a bad week, only had 4 rushing plays from Tampa. Actually, 5 if you include the kneel. And Leonard was still able to get 7.1 in a half-point PPR league, and that's not too shabby, realistically, on 7 touches.
Not at all.
So let him get a bigger workload against a weaker defense, and you're getting yourself a running back 1 this weekend. Again, on the cheap, especially in an equal-to DFS play.
Yeah, definitely. He's actually one of my DFS lineups, but he's also in a few of my redraft lineups. Because, originally when we drafted, he was on the Jag, so I've kept him. And this week, I do think that he is going to finally pay some dividends. But let's move to my running back this week, John. That's James Conner. Does that ring a bell?
No.
Okay.
I don't know him.
Yes,
I don't know him anymore.
Yeah, no, he's should have kicked him to the curb. Beautiful matchup last week against Dallas, but he did not get the ball enough. He carried, other than week 1, which he got injured, he hasn't carried the ball less than 15 times. This past week, he carried the ball 9 times. Only 2 catches on 2 targets. He did not get the ball. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So this week, going up against Cincy, I think it's going to be more of a typical game plan for the Steelers, which I thought they thought was last week. That offense was just not firing on all cylinders. The defense wasn't firing on all cylinders last week. They thought they were just going to come in there, steamroll the Cowboys, walk out with a dub, and that's not what happened. The Cowboys went to Garrett Gilbert. They put up a fight, and they kept it close. And that's why the Steelers had to get away from the run. This week, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that in this game plan, this week, he's going to get his typical 15 to 20 runs with some pass work, some pass catching work sprinkled in there as well. So this week, James Conner going against the Bengals. Book him. Running back one. 18 touches. 18 rushes.
It's like we're kissing each other's exes here. I got Carson, you got James
I
Conner.
know. Yes. We just
we'll learn.
The flip-flop.
So if you guys are looking for your receiver this week, I'm going to give you one. It's going to be Robert Woods. You did see him play against Miami 2 weeks ago on Tua's debut. Kyler Murray looked good. Robert Woods looked great as well. Just barely underperforming Cooper Kupp while only getting about less than a third of the targets.
Oh, nice.
You've been seeing him consistently being targeted no less than 5 times a game since the beginning of the season, as well as being a boomer bust player nearly every week, but able to stay extremely relevant, consistently mediocre to high floor, and then going against the Seattle Seahawks, where you're going to see Jared Goff have to light it up to keep up with Russell Wilson. I see Robert Woods being able to get the ball a lot. I think he is going to ball. I think you're going to be getting at least 100 yards out of him for the first time this season, or the second time this season, with the upside of him finding the end zone and having to get downfield. He's been Jared Goff's best mid to deep threat that we've seen so far this season, and I really like him this week. I would lock him in at wide receiver 1 for you. Again, I'd give him 100 yards.
Yeah.
I expect at least 100 yards from Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great matchup, beautiful matchup, and he's going to get the targets, and I agree. I do think he's going to get the yards as well. So Bobby Woods, John's wide receiver start of the week. John, my wide receiver start of the week, even though he's got some quarterback issues, he's still been producing, and that's going to be Allen Robinson. He's going up against the Minnesota Vikings, who've been pretty easy to pick on in the passing game, in the receiving game. They're in the bottom half of the league in almost every single receiving category, from receptions to touchdowns, targets, yards per target, catch percentage, all that good stuff. The only one they're not in the bottom half is yards. They're at 714. They're at 15th out of 32nd. So almost in the bottom half. And most of those, I mean, for instance, touchdowns to the wide receiver position, they're second most, 9 on the year to the wide receiver position. The 49ers are the only team that have allowed more at 10. So Allen Robinson is going to see a ton of targets. He's going to be very efficient, and he's going to get in the end zone as well.
I love it.
Yep, top 5 wide receiver this week.
You know why I love it?
Why?
Because he's gonna ball out over here, ball out over there. You know who's gonna be balling out when he's over there and over here? Darnell Mooney right up the middle.
Hopefully.
I love him so
Jimmy
much.
Graham too.
I like Jimmy, but I want Darnell to be there. Let him be the guy.
He loves you, Darnell.
I like the young guys.
There's a
lot of young receivers that I'm super hot on.
They make you feel something?
They make me feel like I want to press the W or the plus sign next to their name on my fantasy stuff.
Okay, that's good.
That's fair enough,
That's
right?
good, yeah.
You can give that to me. Okay, so my tight end of the week is going to be actually Eric Ebron. I feel like I've been on this train before. I think I've done this once or twice.
You have.
I have. And I don't think it worked out for me last time.
I don't think it was horrible.
It wasn't horrible. He was just outside of a tight end one the week I predicted. And it was just after his first real good game of the season. Possibly a second. But this week, I do think that he finds himself extremely relevant in that Pittsburgh offense going against the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is going to have to light it up against Pittsburgh, and I think that we're going to see another high-scoring game coming from him. I know that more than likely everyone's going to assume Steelers. That's got to be, that defense is insane. How is a tight end? I'm sorry, the Bengals.
I was about to say, okay.
The Bengals. Defense is insane. No, realistically, the Bengals have been the absolute worst to the tight end that is playing this week. Other than that, you are looking at the Falcons, who, as you know, you play your tight ends against the Falcons.
You play your fantasy people against the Falcons.
So the Falcons aren't here this week. So you're playing your tight end against the Bengals, and that's going to leave you with Eric Ebron. Luckily enough, he's a baller. He does extremely well. He's found a really strong role in this offense. He was only in Indianapolis for those 2 years, and he did really well in the time that he was given a chance. And I think that shows that he doesn't rely on a long-term connection with his team. He was never able to find that stride over in Detroit, and I do think he has found it here in Pittsburgh. They love him there. He's going to get the targets. He's highly targeted, and they're going to really produce this week against the Bengals defense. They've allowed 6 touchdowns to the tight end. They've given up a rushing yard too. He might even get his little feet chopping and get himself in the end zone that way.
I don't think that's on his plate, but
I wouldn't project it, but I wouldn't not expect it.
I don't expect it. Actually, I can guarantee you it's not going to happen.
Oh, you'd bet money he doesn't get a rushing touchdown?
100%.
100%.
100%.
So what are my odds?
Even.
Even? No.
Plus, I'll give you plus 200.
So,
no? All right. Go to Bovada. Hashtag not a sponsor. But go to Bovada. They can give you some good odds, probably, I'm assuming. But anyways, our final player of the week, or start of the week this week, my tight end, Austin Hooper, coming off appendix surgery, getting his appendix removed. He's been out the past couple weeks. And he's coming off the bye, so he's had 3 weeks to heal up. I think he's going to be fine, to be honest. With OBJ out, he hasn't played since OBJ's gone out. So with OBJ out, I do think he's going to see a solid target share. Him and Jarvis Landry are going to eat. But as for the tight end position, I think Austin Hooper is a great play this week going up against the Houston Texans, who have been quite bad. Overall, they're tied for 26th worst in fantasy points a game. And I do expect Austin Hooper to see a solid target share in that offense. So play him if you got him. Another tight end. I'd say this week he's going to finish as a tight end 6. 6+.
6+?
So there. That's it. That's it right there.
I'd say that's pretty fair.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's fair.
Just above Ebron at 7.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I think Ebron outperforms Hooper this week.
You want to make? We haven't done this in a while.
Run it.
The wheel of failure.
Half-point PPR. Eric
PPR.
Ebron will outscore Austin Hooper by at least, I'll maybe even take a point threshold. I'll take a whole point.
Really?
I'll take a whole point.
Okay.
In a half-point league.
Deal. I like that. Thank you, John. Half point. Write that down.
Where?
One right under Eric Ebron.
Are you writing it down? You told me to
I'm
do
sorry,
it. But here,
I'll
you
do
go
it.
ahead.
1 point difference.
Hold up.
You write it down.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're writing here.
I'll get to the good stuff. The stuff that people want to hear. Let's get into it. The Thursday night preview. We got a Thursday night game tonight, baby. We got a Thursday night game. Good one.
It's a good one. Philly Rivers going against Ryan Tannehill.
The noodle arm.
He is not a noodle arm.
He's the noodle arm.
I'm not a huge fan of him.
You seem to be.
Because I think he deserves respect. I'm someone that has not been a Philip Rivers fan coming into this year.
Well, that's your problem. That's not my. I like Philip Rivers. I've liked Philip Rivers his entire career. Very underrated.
I think he's been slightly underrated, and I think that he's a terrible game manager.
No, I think he's a great game manager. I think he's just a mediocre to just above mediocre quarterback.
I think he's like an underskilled Brett Favre.
I don't even see the comparison.
See, it's not game type, skill wise. I think he's more talented than he is talented physically at the sport.
Oh, he's talented physically. Ask his wife. Yeah, like 12 kids.
Exactly. The man knows what he's doing.
Obviously, something's not a noodle. His arm. It got into his arm. Anyways, the Colts playing the Titans up in Nashville. John, are you playing either of these quarterbacks? I mean, what's your... We don't do weekly rankings, but I mean, where do you see both of these quarterbacks?
I think you're looking at Ryan Tannehill as a upside of a low end 1, low side of low end 2. Realistically, I think he's going to finish in the mid quarterback 2s. I don't think this is a good game for him. I think that the Colts defense has been absolutely amazing this year. I think Phillip Rivers has a better day than him, but just slightly. And I think that's a better day for Phillip Rivers than you would get. I'm not looking for much out of either of them. Expecting playable numbers, but nothing great.
Yeah, I'm in my opinion, I'm thinking just because of the rush, a little bit of rushing upside that Tannehill has. I think he's going to finish. He could scramble for a touchdown, whatnot, or get in the end zone with his legs. But I think you're looking at mid to high 2, and then a mid 2 for Mr. Phillip Noodle Arm Rivers. As for the running backs, what's your prognosis there?
My prognosis is going to be
I still
do not trust Jonathan Taylor, regardless of the situation that's going on there right now. He's had 2 terrible games. I thought he was going to be an absolute stud this year. He showed it early on, but it's not continuing. Tennessee's defense hasn't been the best against the running back, hasn't been the worst. You play your studs against them. I'm playing him as a running back too. I'm not comfortably doing it either. Kind of not happy with it, but I do think that he has at least flexible numbers in a better game than he's had these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I 100% agree that, I'm playing him as my running back too, actually in another league, or in one of my leagues. So that's exactly, where I have him. I'm not expecting running back 1 numbers this week. And to be honest, he could even finish lower than a running back 2, but that, running back 2 is where I comfortably put him, as long as he just needs the opportunity. He's not getting the volume that, we expected. So that's, in my opinion, that's killing him. But obviously, Derrick Henry, you're playing, I'm assuming?
You play him. Again, I don't think this is going to be a balling day for him, but I do think you're going to be getting some numbers from him. He does not seem to do his best in these tough matchup games. Hasn't all season so far. It kind of worries me. Indy's has only been allowing 2.1, I believe it's either 1.7 or 9.7 yards per attempt for the running back. I do understand Derrick Henry's a different monster, but it still didn't seem to help him too much last weekend going against Chicago.
Now, in my opinion, I don't trust any of McNichols or
no
Foreman or any Dante Foreman. You're not playing any of those guys. But I guess really the biggest question, the running back situation here in this game, is Jordan Wilkins and Nyheim Hines. I mean, do you play them? Do you play Hines in a PPR format? Do you play Jordan Wilkins at all, seeing that he got more carries than Jonathan Taylor last week?
I think you're playing them out of desperation or I'm looking for a running back. If you need to stream a running back because you're just waivers are dead, I think that's someone you can throw in. But I'm not playing them comfortably over anyone I drafted to be my running back at this point.
Yeah, I think between Jordan Wilkins and Nyheim Hines, if I'm in like a half point or any form of PPR league, I'm playing Hines more comfortably, just due to the fact that he's probably going to get some pass catching work. We've seen it all season, and just hope he gets in the end zone, breaks one big as a low end flex option, and then Jordan Wilkins, I'm low end flex option if I'm super desperate. Yeah. But I'm really looking to stream at that point. I'd play J.D. McKissick more comfortably than either of these people.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't even know he was still on the options.
Just a name I'm throwing out there. I don't know his exact percentage owned, but I know he was on one of our waiver claims this week, and I just want to throw a name out there just to kind of give it to them. As for the receivers, John, where are you at on these guys?
I think you cannot sit AJ Brown at this point.
Nope.
He's nearly matchup proof. I think Corey Davis, even though he put up a dud for us last week, I think he's still a solid flex option for you. I know the Colts can be a little bit scary, but he does have upside, and they do seem to like him a little bit, especially with and then as far as the Colts go, I might play Michael Pittman this week. He's been extremely quiet. He is a rookie. But even with T.Y. back, I do think that they are going to find reliability in him. They have been able to give him targets. Even when T.Y. was there week 2 and 3, he was able to get 6 and 4 targets. They think they're going to fade him a little bit more. I think you can flex him weaker. You're definitely looking to throw a bigger name on top of there. Only other receiver that I'm even halfway interested in flexing on a week start it would be maybe Zach Pascal.
Yeah. So Adore, I don't know if you saw it, just is pretty recent since we started recording, but Adoree Jackson, the cornerback for the Titans, is going to make his debut. And that's their best cornerback there. So I don't know if he's going to be on a snap count or anything like that. It's just a quick headline I was just reading. But he might play or is going to play, but I didn't read the article, so I don't know exactly how much. But I would agree. Michael Pittman and Zach Pascal are the only two that I'd be interested in playing, both flex options for me. So, and then as for the tight end position, Trey Burton, I think he's a great play this week, especially with Jack Doyle out. Mo Alley-Cox did get a passing touchdown attempt or a receiving touchdown attempt last week. Went through his hands, but
well, that's not good. That doesn't get us any points.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
Did that turn into a touchdown for someone else?
To be honest, I don't know. I was just watching the highlights of that game. But Trey Burton, I think, is a fine play this week. I actually like him a lot.
Yeah, I think you might find low-end tight end 1 numbers in him with maybe realistic numbers coming tight end 2. It's not hard to hit those numbers. I think he does get the targets for it.
Yeah. And what about, are you going to play Mo Alley at all?
Before I go to stream someone crazy, if I'm in a deep league, a dynasty league where maybe he's just sitting on the waivers, or one where it's just a deep roster, I take a shot on him if he's healthy come game time. But it really just comes down to what other opportunities. It's not a confident play for me at all.
Yeah, same. I 100% agree there. Not something I'm confident in, but an option if needed. Now, how about Jonnu? What is your feeling on Jonnu? Because I've got one, and I've got a strong one.
I think you play him.
Really?
Do you not?
I'm not playing him.
You're not playing Jonnu at all?
Not at all.
Would you play Trey Burton over him?
Yes. Yes, I would. I would play Trey Burton over Jonnu Smith.
Interesting.
I don't like that matchup. I mean,
the matchup's not sexy.
Not at all.
It really isn't.
And he's not getting his same targets. If he had not gotten in the end zone last week, it would have been another dud for him. Another one.
So so let's say you haven't been able to pick up Trey Burton so far this year.
Okay.
What other tight ends are you playing over him? Are you going to play Ross Dwelly over Jonnu Smith this week?
Actually,
You're kidding me. You disgust me.
Let me look at Ross real quick. Just real quick. Just real quick. Yeah, I'm playing Ross.
You're playing Ross over. Oh.
Yeah, I know it's not sexy, and I may be overthinking it.
Anthony Firkser.
Firkser. I barely even know, right? Isn't that like the joke everybody's been saying about him? I'm not playing either of them. I'm just going to fade the tight end position as a whole.
I still think you play Jonnu Smith, especially before you start streaming. Again, before you start streaming random people for me, I understand the matchup's not sexy.
Adam Shaheen. No, I'm just kidding.
I understand the matchup's not sexy at all, but I don't think that you completely fade him. I know we rode him a little hard last week prior to the game, mainly due to the fact that you just haven't seen, the same targets from him.
And you know why? A.J. Brown's back. Corey Davis is back. Anthony Fursker has stepped up in that offense.
I could agree. But, A.J. Brown's been back since week 5.
But then Corey Davis was out as well. So that's just my, that's how I'm seeing it. Like I said, if he had not gotten in the end zone this week, everybody would have been, he had a very hot start. And he had a ton of targets. A.J. Brown wasn't on the field, and I don't like Jonnu anymore. I'm sorry. I liked him at the beginning. Liked him when there were less options on that. That plus the matchup, I'm just completely fading him this week. I don't want to deal with him. Sorry, Jonnu. He's looking at me.
I'm gonna take him because even without that touchdown, he's still a tight end too.
Really, with 4 points?
Uh-huh.
But
in a half-point league, yeah.
Is there streaming options?
Are there streaming options that I feel comfortable with? No, I think the upside on him is too high to where you're gonna want to stream over him. I think your low end on him, your floor of him is a bad day for a tight end.
But I'd rather stream over him. Somebody that gets more targets.
I think he's someone that's going to. I think this is a week that even though like I said, I understand the matchups are really bad for him. I know the Colts are absolutely great against the tight end. They've been shutting him down week in, week out. They have had a couple weeks where they have allowed tight ends to be usable and good. So I don't think you sit him this week completely unless you have a real option. I don't think you take a huge shot on him.
Yeah, I do. Just in my opinion, I do. Just that, like I said, we've gotten into it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is our Thursday night preview. Oh, Rodrigo Blankenship. If you got him, play him. I think the Colts are going to move down the field just enough to get in field goal range. And Rodrigo, 3 field goals, 2 extra points.
I'm gonna take Daniel Carlson. It's gonna be my kicker.
Oh boy.
Whoever's playing the Broncos.
There you go. But like I said, thank you so much for listening. Now let's jump into our beer of the day. It was an interesting one. It is called the Crust Fall Boulevard, Crust Fall Peachberry Pie Sour by Boulevard Brewing Company, in collaboration with Rhinegeist Brewing out of Cincinnati, Ohio. The can art's pretty dope. It's got a bunch of berries and pie. It has a pie as well. Peach pie, I'm assuming peachberry pie, on the can art with some peaches and some people running around holding them up in the clouds. Kind of a trippy can, yellow background.
It's a party on the can and it's a party in your mouth.
It is. A little bit about Boulevard Brewing Company. They are out of Kansas City, Missouri. They were founded in 1989. And it has become the largest specialty brewer in the Midwest. Cheese, curds, and beer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the John McDonald founded them, like I said, in 1989. They've got a massive facility. They've got 3 spots you can go visit them at. Currently, unfortunately, due to COVID, they are not doing tours and things like that. But they've got the brewery itself. They've got a tour and rec center where you can tour the property and get some background. Then they also have a massive distribution warehouse, which, like I said, the tours and stuff like that are down. But if you go to their website, boulevard.com, You can go check them out if you're in the Kansas City, Missouri area. I was actually just up in Kansas City right before COVID, and I wish I would have known about this place because I would have swung by, took a peek.
Yeah, you like this one a lot?
It's pretty good. It's all right. It's not. It's very, very sweet. Very sweet. I mean, it literally feels like I'm eating like a blue raspberry or a blueberry or something like that. Like very sweet.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. It is a 7.5 ABV, which for the sweetness and the lack of bite is absolutely great. It is a 12 IBU. Surprised it even had that much. It does lack nearly in all bitterness. When you pour it, it does have a nice little amber, more of a dark amber color, kind of like that fall beer sort of feel, but absolutely great. It's malted with pale malt, a nice wheat malt, some honey malt, as well as Dingeman's Biscuit malt, which kind of helps that pie crust flavor follow through. Hops are made with Columbus, and then it is flavored with peaches, blackberries, blueberries, and then a hint of vanilla. When you're pouring it out, like I said, that amber color, you get a nice little smell of those blueberries, that sweetness, but it kind of breaks off and levels off rather quickly, and you kind of almost get that crusty smell coming through. They did a really good job of bringing that pie flavor across your tongue.
Yep.
But like I said a few minutes ago, it is really just a party in your mouth. Just a huge arrangement of flavors coming at you all at once. Kind of try to figure out what you're flavoring, what you're tasting at each moment. Strong on the berry, and then follows back with that little bit of beer hoppiness. Glad it comes through at the end, and it is so smooth. I am a fan. This is a juice in a can, and Sam, I am.
Yeah? Yeah. Real quick, before we jump into our ratings, it was a very good beer. I mean, I did like, especially if I was a non-beer drinker, this is a beer I'd go to. Like, straight up, boom, done. Doesn't have that beer flavor, is sweet, it's good, easy to drink. But I didn't really touch on Rhinegeist Brewing Company. I don't want to overlook them just because they're a partner on this. But like I said, they're out of Cincinnati. They were founded in 2005 and have just grown and grown and grown from there. Check out their website too as well. Rhinegeist, that's RHINEGEIST.com, where you can check out, get more information on them. They've got, a tap room, of course, and then they also have a rooftop bar, which is pretty dope, in downtown or near downtown Cincinnati. So if you're in that area, check them out as well. As for me, John, I'm going to give this a 6.7.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little low.
It is a little low, yes. Like I said, it wasn't bitter enough for me. I wanted a little bit more of that beer flavor, and I wanted more beer and less berry pie. But if this is what they're going for, I mean, they nailed it on the head, because like we said, they hit that berry pie, peach berry pie flavor. So I mean, interesting flavor, not particularly for me. Like I said, I like it, but I'm just not a massive fan as a beer. If I wasn't a beer drinker, like if I didn't drink, hoppier, more bitter beers, then this would be great. But
so I'm gonna give it a 7.6. I did enjoy it. I respect and understand that all beers are beer. A sour beer, it's doing its job. It's doing exactly what it's promoting itself to be. It comes in with that little bit of hop flavor at the end. So I do appreciate it. Again, I'm someone that really enjoys sours. I always have and probably always will. So it gets, it's on my team. If you don't want it on yours, it's cool.
I like I said, I like
cool.
it.
I'll take it.
It's not bad.
It's fine. I'll take it. So definitely something I'm really into. So I'm going to give it that 7.6. Very easy for someone who's not a huge beer drinker, like you mentioned, to come by and take a grab.
Big time.
Yeah. But that was a great show.
Yeah, it was. It's finished. The show's finished.
Am I missing?
Oh, my goodness. No, just flew by. It's quick.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. Those are our must starts of the week. You've got Tom Brady, James Conner, Allen Robinson, Austin Hooper for Mike over here, as well as Carson Wentz, Leonard Fournette, Robert Woods, and Eric Ebron for me. Make sure you guys get those guys into your lineups. Take a look at them. See how you feel. Listen to what we just said and see if they are the right move for you if you've got them. Other than that, thank you so much. Really appreciate everything you guys have done. All you veterans, make sure you're enjoying your day, and we let you guys know that we really do appreciate you.
Yep, definitely, 100%. You guys are awesome. Vets, you guys are awesome. I wish there was more we could do for you.
Wish there was something we can do other than just say thank you.
Yeah, I did think of an idea, but we'll talk about it after the show.
All right, fair enough.
All right, Eddie.
If you guys have any fantasy football questions, running out of time for those trade questions. If you guys just want those roster and lineup questions, make sure you're sending them to us at the Fantasy Tap on Twitter and Instagram.
Somebody just hit us up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys are checking out the Fantasy Tap Room on Facebook, as well as sending us any of those questions or beer updates, beer wants, beer needs to the fantasytap@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
We are always there for you, and we'll always make sure to make some time. Check us out on Sunday. If you guys don't tune in for a Friday show, we will be here to help you with all of your start-sit questions last minute.
Yes, we will be. And then, of course, take your flex players and put them in their respective running back, wide receiver, or tight end spots. Veterans, we love you guys. The remaining people, we also love you. Have a great day. And again, vets, thank you for your service. Bye-bye.